Life throws us enough speed bumps and curveballs that we don't need to go poking our nose into someone else's difficulties. And yet, if we're not part of the solution, or we don't do one thing differently, we should expect the same rates, shouldn't we? What's that old phrase about expecting, if we do the same thing over and over and expect a different outcome, right? It's the definition of insanity. Thank you. So I ask you to consider, you're going to hear from Will and Melissa, a very moving story, very compelling stories, some very real stories. And consider, as the night continues, what's one thing you can do differently that you didn't do yesterday or the day before?
As you guys know, I'm Will Wagner. 4 years ago, I tried to kill myself. Didn't work so well. But I'm happy about that, and here we are. Growing up, I grew up in the cowboy lifestyle, so the cowboy mentality of don't show your feelings, don't cry, don't talk about it. If there's a problem, you suck it up and figure it out. Life was good. I didn't have any issues growing up. I had a huge support system. I was in 4-H. I did rodeo. I did baseball, all that. Everything was good. I loved life. I had a lot of friends. I have an amazing family, and blood and not blood. Here's Foxy. Foxy and I have been friends since preschool. We've done everything together, bad things, good things.
So Will and I have been friends for 25 years. Unfortunately. If I would have known what I know today, I think this situation would have been 10 times different. I would have known how to be a better friend, even if the attempt happened, but in those middle times. I was also one of those people that was beyond ignorant and thought that mental health was a joke. Only weak people went to it. Suicide was selfish. All of that. I had gone around and I was trying to educate myself and I was trying to be that better friend, but there's so much. You can't even find things on Google to help you. Like you type the word suicide and it's like, oh, here's everything to call to get help. But what if you want to help somebody? There's no education. Or if there is, it's in all big words and who can read those?
In 2018, I met a girl. She was fantastic. We had everything in common. We rode horses. We did all these things, and it was good. And the relationship turned toxic on both ends. It wasn't one-sided. I became somebody I never want to see again. I acted in ways and said things that I hope I never say again. And I didn't think it was a problem. I didn't think I had a problem. I didn't think that mental health was real. They talk about how people who try to commit suicide are selfish or cowardly. I said those things. I'm very good at lying. I was very good at telling people I was okay. I was very good at hiding my feelings. And so no one really knew. I felt like I was a horrible person, and I got told that I wasn't worth anything. So I chose to go to alcohol to help with that. Alcohol does not help with that. It does numb the pain, which was my goal. It did that very well, but it numbed a lot of other things. I would drink every night to go to bed. And I didn't think it was a problem. I didn't think I had a problem. I was losing weight like crazy. I called my mom. She's worked in the healthcare field forever. And I was like, Mom, something's wrong. Like, I think I'm sick. And I was sick. But it just wasn't a physical sick. It wasn't like I broke my arm and we could see it.
When Will went away to college and he met that human and I was a threat, our friendship stopped. We did not talk for 3 years straight. That right there should have been a red flag to me. You don't let something you love just walk on out.
So On New Year's Eve of 2018, we went out to celebrate. I never liked New Year's. I now know why. And we had a lot of alcohol, as a lot of people do, the party idea. And my girlfriend at the time and I got into it and got into an argument. And I was mad, so I walked home. It was 20 below that night. I walked home about 2.5 miles. And so I got home. She came home a little while later. We had gotten into another argument about seeing an ex out at the bar. And so I grabbed my pistol and I went outside and attempted to kill myself. I went outside because I didn't want people to have to clean up my house. I wore a really nice jacket. If any of you are hunters, you guys know Sitka. I wore that because if I was going to meet God, I wanted to look good. I look a lot better now than I did then. And I sat there and I asked him for help because I didn't know who else I was supposed to ask. And he didn't respond. My brother, I had sent him a text giving him all of my belongings, giving my truck to my mom so she could sell it for her house, my horse to my dad. And so I did the deed. My brother, he found me in our driveway, on my knees, and he had to figure out if he was going to say goodbye or if there was a chance I was going to live.
So that morning, my phone rings before sunrise, that Tuesday morning. It's Todd Wagner, Will's dad. I was under the impression Will was dead. He shot himself, was the next thing that comes through. Todd turns the phone, and there's my friend laying there, tubes, cords, his eyes are so swollen shut that you can't even tell who he is.
I was very hesitant and worried when I woke up in the hospital because before when I went in, I was like, well, you know, if you try and kill yourself, you're a horrible person or you're selfish. Like, I didn't know how people were going to react. I didn't know if the health care I was going to receive was going to be okay and if it was going to be biased.
This was the first photo that he had posted to the world to let them know that he had committed suicide.
Talk to her.
So these are the moments where it starts to turn around, where you're actually seeing your friend make movements, make motions.
I woke up in the hospital and I knew I wanted to talk to people. I wanted to try and help people. And because I didn't talk before.
I was going through my own medical problems, all of that. I would have loved to have a friend. I would have loved to have a friend that was struggling and knew everything about me. I didn't even tell my best friend I needed that help because I didn't know how. I sat in front of her and I would beat her around the bush and I'd be like, hey, yeah, here's a little bit, here's a bone, okay, going back the other way. I had to let Will know that I've struggled in low places and I realized that rock bottom sometimes has a basement. He did have a good attitude and an outlook, but there was those pains and everything attached. We started having those phone calls and everything, and we would get deeper and deeper. I wasn't able to go down to Colorado and be right by his side for months. I wouldn't have left, but I was sick myself.
Suicide is a topic that we don't want to talk about sometimes, and that's okay, but it's not. It needs talked about. It is a scary subject because we don't understand it because we don't talk about it enough. there's no easy way to go about it. It's not a conversation that is going to be easy to have, and it's going to be the same thing for everybody. We're all different. What might affect you guys affects me differently. So a problem that's my problem is really big to me might be nothing to you, but it might be vice versa that way. You guys might have a problem, and I'd be like, well, that's nothing. But if you look at it that way, you're not helping anybody. And then they don't want to talk to you about it. If you go, well, so what that you spilled your coffee this morning? Well, maybe when it spilled their coffee this morning, it ruined their entire day and it just went downhill from there. Be like, okay, you know what? This is, I see you. I understand it, and I'm here. So this is Annie. Annie actually stopped me my first time from trying to kill myself. I was going to, and she jumped up on me and brought me out of it. I looked for whatever I could find that would make me want to stay here. And it was whatever it could be. It's something small. The biggest thing was her. I couldn't leave her alone, right? She depends on me. And so when I talk to other people that have gone through things or going through things, I try to put that out there. That, you know, find that little thing. Like that was what it was. It was that I had to make sure I fed her. I had to let her out. I could have said, you know, oh, you know, somebody else can take care of her. I looked for whatever I could find. And then it turned into sunrises. I really like sunrises. I don't know why. I just think they're beautiful. And so I wake up at 4 in the morning in the summer, and I go drive somewhere, and I go look at sunrises with Annie. I drink coffee, and especially on the days that are really rough, I go do it because I need to. It's that self-care thing. For someone else, it might be going and getting coffee, or getting your hair done, or your nails done, or going out and just visiting family and friends. I didn't want to die. The pain, we want the pain to stop. And we do. Like, the pain just, we want, like, what else are we supposed to do? I didn't feel like I could talk to people because I didn't want to tell them, hey, this is how I'm feeling, and I didn't want to burden them. A lot of times we feel like we're a burden. That's not right. I know probably most people in here would probably like to listen to me, make sure that I lived another day, but I didn't feel that way. We can be reactive. Everybody was reactive in my case. But you can be proactive about it. You can talk about it. You can talk to people. Not when something happens, you go talk to them. We talk about like little kids being touched private parts, right? We talk about that when we talk to them about the birds and the bees. So we talk to them about sex, but people don't want to talk to them about suicide and mental health. You can use words, and you can use the right words. Talk to your kids about it. If you have kids, talk to your nieces and nephews. Talk to your friends. Ask them. It's okay to be like, do you feel like killing yourself? Like, yeah, it's a shock factor, and they're going to be like, at least you're not going, well, do you feel okay today? Because I had people ask me all the time, how you feeling? I'm like, oh, I feel okay. I'm all right. They never were like really dove into it. And you'll ask people like me sometimes, hey, how do you feel today? And I might tell you, I don't want to be alive today. That scares a lot of people. It scared my mom. That's just a feeling to me. So everybody's different. You got to gauge that.
But still, once again, he is living through a battle. He is rising himself up. He's figuring out who the new him is. And he's still reaching out. Story's not over.